Oh, guys, what is up? It's Teach here, coming at you again with another video over on Ark Survival Ascended. And in this video, I am going to show you how to get every single possible resource on Aberration, where to find it, where to get the most of it, and the best zone to locate it in. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go zone by zone, starting with green, blue, red, and then the surface zones in each of the resources that you need from all of those locations. I'll show you exactly where to get and how much you can expect to get from those zones. So anyways, let's go ahead and get started. But if you don't mind, smash that like button, leave a comment below for the algorithm, and then consider subbing to the channel. All right, so the green zone, which is the zone we are currently in, I'm going to go ahead and show my map up here so you can see. So green zone is this zone in the upper kind of left-ish side. Blue zone obviously is the blue zone, and then the red zone is this reddish pink zone down in here. The surface zones are 1, 2, and then the third one I believe is over here. And I guess this is the third one, isn't it? Yeah, it's the third one. But all four of those zones have unique resources in each of them, and I'll show you where to get them. So let's start in the green zone. Now this is an obvious one because a lot of people spend most of their time in the green zone itself, but the most common and needed resource in the green zone, especially late game, is green gems. You can find them pretty much anywhere, and they can be harvested with a pick really rapidly. So that's the first unique resource in the green zone. There's no specific place because they spawn literally everywhere. Now, the next thing that you're going to need, and this is the best place to find it in the entire game because the green zone is littered with it, is fungal wood. Fungal wood is literally any tree that looks like a mushroom, so literally all of the trees. The best place that I find these typically is if you go up and down the river and you can just take out a roll rat. Roll rat is the best creature in the game when it comes to harvesting fungal wood, and just wood in general for the most part. You can harvest a ridiculous amount of wood, and you can see the fungal wood is just that funky looking. There it is. It looks like a mushroom, like the cap or the non-cap of a mushroom, and that's how you get access to that. So it's pretty easy, and that's a pretty common one. Now the next thing, this is one that people regularly search for, and this is how you're going to find Xplant. Now I go to a very specific location, and let's see if I can show you the specific coords right over, not quite there, right here. All right, so this chord right here, you can see that I'm at 30.4, 56.8, and you are in the green zone. And the Xplant can be gathered from these cattails. Now see these cattail looking things right here? These have Xplant inside of them if you harvest them with like a stego or something along those lines. And so do these weird looking like pitcher plants. Both of them in combination can give you Xplant. And it's one of the best places to get it in the entire game actually, because you can get quite a bit of it really rapidly. So definitely utilize that. Now, also in the green zone, it's probably one of my favorite places to get stone, because what you can do is you can swim in this river right here, and you see all those small stone rocks? Those count as full stone rocks. So you can swim with a Doedicarus, and because Doedicarus swim faster than they run, and they can swing faster, about 2 times faster when they're swimming as well, you can gather enough stone to power an entire base in like 20 minutes. It's kind of crazy. Just get a good Doedicarus and you will have so much stone, you'll never need it again. So definitely utilize that, because when it's getting dark. So I'm going to go ahead and modify my gamma real quick. Let's go gamma 3. Why not? Let's go gamma 3. Okay, so make it a little brighter. All right, so that is how you get stone. Now the next resource, and this is pretty much specific to all 3 zones, but this is the easiest way to access it. And this is going to be how you're going to get a stupid amount of chitin and keratin. Now, if you go to the coords, or the surface cave location coords, 2764 is my favorite place to go. If you go to the back, you'll see these bones in the ground. Now, these bones can be harvested, and you can use technically this. It's not going to get you anything, but just so you know, if you get and wait slowly, you can use this if you get it in the right spot. There we go. Okay, so a chainsaw will harvest the keratin. You can harvest it with any tool. Technically a mining drill works the best, but you know, it's up to you. So yeah, obviously you're seeing me do it right now, but you can also use an Anki. You can use just about anything to harvest these bones, and especially on just about any server, you'll get enough keratin where you're never going to need it again, because this entire bottom is littered with it. And yeah, it's definitely a useful thing, and it's like 400 or 500 per thing on 1x. So if you're on a boosted server in any way, shape, or form, you're totally set. So next up is our organic polymer, or polymer. If you did not know this already, I'm going to go ahead and take this guy right here and place it inside of our inventory. You can essentially attack the crabs, the giant crabs, also known as carcanos. And Carcanos will give you a stupid amount of organic polymer every time you kill them. See them right there? The best place to find them is Crab River, and that's where I'm looking right. If you follow my map at 27.4 and 49 and then look straight ahead, you will run into enough Carcanos to fund an entire base for way too long with the amount of organic polymer. Like, it's kind of stupid because they just sit in this river, and you can run this river with a Spino, and yeah, you'll never need to worry about organic polymer again. It's super strong. Just tame yourself one of the Spinos from the river, run up and down it, and you'll have enough to, even on 1x, get a few thousand polymer per time you go up and down. Now, the best way to harvest it is with a tame. You can technically grab a Moss Chops, but a Moss Chops is obviously not the easiest thing to move around with. So some people don't do that as much. So using your hands is not the best way. Use a tame because they get the bonus. Sorry, take a drink of water there. They get the bonus for it. So that's the best way to get polymer in the entire game. Now, there is another resource that is much easier to find in the green zone than anywhere else, and this is Mutton Hill that I'm going to show you. Mutton Hill is basically a hill that has a guaranteed sheep on it every single time, and I say that, and I hope that my dino wipe didn't kill all of the sheep that I saw there a little bit ago, but we'll see. So anyways, if you go to the Edge 1 location at the chords that I am at right now, which is 31.8, 60.4, Edge 1 is one like I always come back to. It's like one of the best spots in the entire game. If you go to this zone, you will, there it is right there, there's a sheep, you see him? This is one of the best places to harvest mutton, and because it's mutton, is that another sheep? No, I thought I saw one. But if you run up and down this thing, you'll get like 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe even 8 sheep. This hill right here, and I don't always find them right off the bat, but I swear they're here. You obviously saw the first one that I saw, but yeah, it's a really awesome place to get sheep, and which means you can get access to hide and pelt up here as well. So very useful to be able to get access to that. Now, next on our list is I'm going to go ahead and show you where to find Silica Pearls. Now, there's 2 zones. One is Fertile Lake, and that's like the one that everyone knows about, but there's a little secret river, tiny little river, and the mouth of the river is right here. This chord right here, 2650.8. Now, if you go up this river, inside of the river, when you get to the deeper zones, you'll see Silica Pearls. And yes, they are just gatherable by hand. You can see that here's a couple right here, here's a couple right here, and up this entire river near where the medium to deep zones of the river are, you will find a bunch of Silica Pearls. Now, on 1x, you'll probably get 200, 300, 400 just by running up and down this river. On a boosted server, obviously, you'll get way more. But you can see them, they look like little weird poop rocks, I guess. That's the best way to describe it. But the entire way up the river, you'll find a whole bunch of these. I harvested some earlier, so I doubt that. Oh, there's still some on the sides. But you will get a significant chunk of these Silica Pearls. Now, you can go all the way up into this. I have not found any at the immediate entrance to the lake, but if you go to the bottom of this lake with an anglerfish, that's one of the best ways to get Silica Pearls in the game because it's pretty safe, and there's a ton of Silica Pearls in the bottom of this lake. Believe it or not, it's a very deep lake. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my volumetric fog because that's what's killing me right now. Volumetric. I'm just going to go to cloud, erase the cloud. Fog, right, 0. All right, there we go. Now we can see the bottom. But if you swim around the bottom of this, obviously, as soon as I say that it's super easy to find, I'm not able to find any right off the bat. But there will be a ton of them down here. Now, I'm sorry about the lighting situation. Unfortunately, the devs, when they released AB, did not think about the gamma and all the different light sources that they have in the game, because lighting is terrible in AB right now, but that's besides the point. But this river, or this lake, I mean, is a great place to get a ton of Silica Pearls, so definitely utilize that. Now, this is not the best way to get it, but I wanted to show you a quick way to get oil. Oil, if you go up and down this river that I'm in right here, this, I don't know, sometimes people call it Trilobite River. If you go to the Edge 1, hint, we keep coming back here because it's like one of the best grinding places in the entire game. There are a ton of trilobites in this area. Now, the trilobites can be harvested for, I think there's one right there. Yeah, look at all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on my screen right there. And then you can go a little bit further up, 7, 8. So this is like little trilobite river. If you harvest trilobites, they will give you oil, Silica Pearls, black pearls, chitin, a lot of early game resources, they won't give you huge quantities, but harvesting them with a hatchet or a spino is one of the best things that you can do for early game resources. All right, yeah, so that's a really useful thing. Now the next thing, sap. All of these large redwood trees count as sap trees, so you can just put a sap tap in all of them and be good to go for the most part. Now, the next thing that I'm going to show you is a little bit difficult. I've got a video about it, so I'm not going to go in depth about it, but this is how you get paste. Essentially, you can either use those caves that I showed you with the keratin and then mix it with stone, or if you take a bezel bufo and tame a bezel bufo, and if you hit the light bugs, the little like bugs that fly around that everyone thinks are useless, they're not actually useless. They have a value to them. If you attack the light bugs, which I can't seem to find right now, I think I killed them all in this area, but if you attack the light bugs, they will give you cementing paste with a bezel bufo. So you can, there's one right there. So these guys, if you hit one of these guys with a bezel bufo, yep, pretty nice. They will give you a good chunk on 1x, like somewhere between 8 and 24 cementing paste per bug you kill. And if you're on a boosted server, so obviously you're going to get a lot more than that. So definitely utilize that. It's a really strong way to get early game cementing paste. Yeah, so pretty easy. All right, 2 more resources in this zone that I go for, and that is typically it's much easier in my opinion to get the gas balls. So see how there's like those little gas ball, they will pop 1 out every time they go off like that, but you can also place a, what's it called on it? A gas collector on top of it. And because it's much safer in this zone, I tend to go into this zone. So for my gas, I mean, it's the safest zone by far, and we'll explain when we go down to the other 2 zones. So you get your gas up in this zone. It's one of the best ways. It's not the gas plateau. There's a plateau that has like 30 gas veins, but if you just toss down a couple of collectors, you'll have more than enough and you don't need to worry about it. So next up on our list, we just talked about going over here for rare flowers, rare mushrooms. If you run up and down this river, by the way, in this exact zone, you will get rare flowers from hitting these plants. And if you hit the trees, any tree that is a fungal tree will give you rare mushrooms from it. It's just a random chance. You can use a pick and have a higher chance at getting a rare mushroom, but you can get a rare mushroom from hitting any fungal tree. And that is every resource that you, there's one right there. Every resource that you need to know for green zone. Now we're gonna go ahead and go into the blue zone, which is the second best resource area on the map, but it's actually the best metal location in the entire game. So the entire blue zone is littered with a whole bunch of different stuff. See these small trees? These actually count as giant trees. So hitting these small trees is actually worth more than a large tree on just about any other server. Look at this. This is 1x. There is 300 wood. There is 400 wood. 400 wood on a 1x server from a small tree. Yeah, pretty dope. So the best place to get wood in the entire game in the blue zone for sure. Now also the best place to get metal, any rock that has like this weird like craggly appearance looking thing to it, or a rock that has like a blue surface on it, is a metal rock. Even though it might not seem that way, this is the best way to harvest metal in the game. If you come down here with a Carcanos and an Ankylosaurus, you will in 20 minutes have enough metal to run your base for a week, if not more. You can go to any location in the blue zone, all of it is filled with it, and that is how you get metal in the blue zone. Now, obviously you're gonna find blue gems in the blue zone, but I'm gonna show you a little secret in this video that I've made before. There is a secret red gem location in the blue zone. And you can typically, oh wow, I didn't realize this was over here. That's kind of cool, little hidey hole. But you can find a couple of different locations in the blue zone if you look underneath these larger, kind of these, how do I say this? Larger bridges, larger bridge locations. And in the larger bridge locations, you will be able to find some red gems if you look carefully as well. I want to try and show you some, so I'm not sounding like a crazy person right now when I'm talking about it. But you can find them. I've got a video on it, pretty easy, but it's definitely a secret way to get a bunch of red gems early game. Check out my video because I'm not going to find it right now because I'm being stupid. All right, also stone is really easy over here if you take a Doedicarus as well. So if you take a Carcanos and attack any of those metal rocks with a Doedicarus, they actually count as high quality rocks. So you can get like thousands upon thousands upon thousands of stone in order to supply your base with both flint, pretty much everything that you need in all honesty. So a Carcanos with an Anky in one hand and a Doedic in the other, and you'll never need resources again after spending like 30 minutes down here because every single rock is harvestable And with a Doedicarus, they key in on only getting stone, and yeah, that's huge. And you can just grind it in the inventory for flint if you want that. So that's how I would go about getting flint. It's easier just to grab a Doedicarus, get a whole bunch of stuff, and then grind it for flint in order to get flint. Now, because these things, these trees, these small trees in this zone, count as high quality trees, I would recommend hitting them for thatch as well, because obviously if you get a bunch of wood, you're going to get a bunch of thatch as well. You can use any thatch collector, and Anki would work great. Just rolling around with a roll rat, attacking with a roll rat will yield thatch as well. But Anki is one of the best thatch gatherers in the game. So you can use an Anki in order to get those. So that I would encourage you to do that. Now, also, there's 3 more resources in the zone that are pretty important. Biotoxin can actually be gathered from any... Remember those blue mushrooms? Have you run into them before? They're a pain in the butt. See those things right there? So those are blue mushrooms. Now, if you find the blue mushroom that kind of like... There it is. See how that one's like slightly more blue? That like little purplish color to the bottom of it? If you hit the one with the purplish color on the bottom of it, it has a higher chance to give you... There it is. Biotoxin. Now on 1x, you're only going to get a couple biotoxin per mushroom, but those are the ones that actually emit the seeds anyways, so you can kind of just realize, once you realize that, it's really easy to avoid it. And then if you are currently experiencing the issue that I'm experiencing, and your character's like, no, I'm going to die, eating aquatic mushrooms will get rid of that. Oop, all good to go. But that is how you get biotoxin in the blue zone. Super useful thing, and yeah, save yourself a lot of time. Next thing is crystal. Crystal, if you go to the crystal area, and by crystal area, I mean the area that goes up and down into the blue zone, which is this little area right here. Coordinates that I'm at, 38.5, 56.5, and up this little pathway right here, if you go up and down it, there are so many blue gem locations that you'll never need crystal again. Because if you swing at these with an Anki, yes, you get blue gem, but you also get crystal out of them. So it's a huge, huge advantage to be able to get a ton of crystal using those things. All right, last resource from this zone, because there's a huge concentration of bushes, you see them all over the place. This is one of the best places in the game to get both berries and fiber. Because you can get it really quickly on this map, it's one of the best things that you can do to get, just go into this zone with any fiber collector, or like, I don't know, just anything. A sickle will do wonders for you. And that's how you're going to be able to get a ton of those. So that's pretty much every resource that you need in the actual blue zone. And then we'll move on to the red zone. Now the red zone only has literally two, maybe 3 resources that we want to gather out of it. So this video is pretty close to being over, but I'll show you how to get the 2 major resources in the red zone. So in the red zone, now that we're here, obviously you can see that we're in the red zone. There are 2 major resources. 1 is element ore, and 2 is the black pearls. Now, black pearls can be harvested from any river that is element river. So you have to go to the very bottom of this zone, and you'll see a stupid amount of, as you can see right here, black pearls. These are just harvestable. It's best to use a whip, because the whip gives you the bonus collection rates. And you can whip up a ton of black pearls really quickly on this game. Now, obviously, red gems will be down here, so will obsidian, but it's easier to gather that at the surface. Now, there is, in this area, if you go, I'll give you the chords of it so I don't go crazy, right over there, there are a few element ore caves. I personally don't like them as much as I do like getting element ore on the surface. That's why I'm not going to tell you to go in there or go in there, because I'm going to be telling you people wrong, and I don't want to do that. So we're gonna kind of avoid that. So the next location that you need to know about is the surface caves. Now the surface caves, I showed you one earlier when we got the keratin out of it. If you go into the surface caves, I'm gonna go exactly back to the one we went to earlier. This is the chords right here, 27.1, 63.5. And you have to go out here at nighttime, by the way, because if you go out during the day, you're dead. See that? I'm like burnt on fire, dead. There's not even a point. So we're gonna go ahead and set time of day. Oops, I just spelled that totally wrong. Set time of day. And let's go to 2200. So at 2200 is not considered, well, apparently my Featherlight thinks it's considered daytime still, currently. Let's go ahead and go slow-mo 1000. Slow-mo 1. All right, so there's no way it's not considered daytime at this point, but apparently the game is being all funky. But if you go at nighttime, anytime that is, oh, it's at 1600 right now. Why is it being weird? Did I type it in wrong? Oh my God, I was killed. It's gonna go 2400, 24 o'clock. There we go. And that's for sure nighttime. All right, see how there's no damage out here now and it's not like red and on fire? That's what we're looking for. These rocks, just so you can see over here, you'll see that you can get oil out of them. Oil is easy to gather on the surface in huge quantities because almost all of the rocks are oil rocks. See those like the darker colored rocks that aren't quite obsidian? Those are all oil rocks. Obsidian is also easy to gather on the surface, so that's pretty useful. And then element ore is very easy to gather on the surface as well because it's these like shiny rocks. You can see that cool like purplish ore that we're gathering right there. And that's like, if you go during the nighttime and you're able to kill a couple of the Reaper Kings, they're not hard to kill as long as you have light nearby. They don't have very much health. You just smush them as long as you have a light pet nearby. There are quite a few of them, so you'll want to be careful of that. But you can kill them pretty rapidly, so I wouldn't be super concerned. Just bring a light pet, and you can get all of those resources really quickly. This is the best way to get oil, though. Usually you can find oil up on a higher edge or kind of like kite the Reaper Kings around to avoid you, and then just harvest the oil that and harvest that guy right there. So very useful to be able to know when to go and how to get the resources there. But that is every single resource that you could possibly need to know over on this game. And yeah, hopefully this video helps you out. And if you don't mind, smash that like button, leave a comment below for the algorithm, and then consider subbing to the channel. All right, Teach out.